Remember when we heard that the Dragon Ball universe was getting a movie, and then we went to the cinemas, and the evolution that we got was really more of a devolution? We finally have a reason that explains why that travesty happened. But before we begin, my name is Elroy, this is my world, and I just want to thank you for choosing to join me for a couple of minutes, and hopefully I can arm you with some very serious information about the travesty that was Dragon Ball Evolution. Now, we have words from a man named Kazuhiko Torishima explaining why the project itself tanked at the box office and why Akira Toriyama, that's Dragon Ball's creator, didn't have as much input as fans hoped that he would have had. Now, who is Kazuhiko Torishima, you might ask? And why does he matter? That's a great question, and I'm going to answer that for you right now. He worked for a company named Shueisha, and I'm not sure if I pronounced that correctly, but you can Google that, as editor before he was promoted to the CEO. Now, Shueisha is a publisher that is known to have published things like, I don't know, Weekly Shonen Jump, for instance, for all you manga fans. Shueisha is also the company that currently owns Viz Media, the place that publishes manga in North America. Again, all you manga fans get excited because Kazuhiko Torishima seems pretty important, and if we understand that, his statement is actually going to be really important, right? But the truth is, it gets a lot better for you Dragon Ball fans out there. He was also Akira Toriyama's editor for the first half of the Dragon Ball series. Now, I don't know how much input that he actually had in the manga series, but as an editor, I'm pretty sure he would be the person who basically gets to approve what's put in to Weekly Shonen Jump, that final say of what happens and what doesn't happen. So suffice to say that this guy knows the Dragon Ball universe pretty damn well, or at least the first half. Now, according to Torishima, for the original rights holder to tell a production company yes or no in the production process, it requires an investment of $45 million. Now, do you see what the problem was there? I don't think that they had $45 million in capital to put up for a final say in something that originally belonged to them. Essentially, they had no cash, so they had no control. And that's the worst thing you can do, honestly. So basically now we know why Toriyama, he had little to no control over the Dragon Ball Evolution movie, and what the idea behind that was for the final product, which really sucks because if he had been involved, it could have been a lot better. But don't even get me started on how many dumbass problems existed within the movie in the first place. I mean, they took this incredibly well-established story with wonderful and enchanting characters that you loved and you rooted for every time they were fighting, and they basically became a serial killer and butchered everything that was good about this movie to the point where the only things that were really resembled the series were the names of the characters and the concepts that was basically there from the beginning. That was it, right? Let's not get into the fact that, oh, I don't know, Bulma wants to use the Dragon Balls to power the world, as opposed to the anime or the manga series where she wants to wish for a boyfriend, or maybe Goku, who's supposed to be some sort of slave to Piccolo, because that's what was originally intended for Goku in the series, right? Who thought that that was a good idea? Did they watch the series? Did they see and understand? That's not what you do. That is not how it works. That's see. And then the problem is, right, we move into Hollywood, and they basically try and take these anime series and they try and turn them into these big budget movies, and they hope to cash in on that nostalgia for a TV series that still today is incredible. If you go back and watch that today, I promise you, if you don't like it, then it's not something wrong with me. That's all I'm saying, right? Go and check it out. Dragon Ball Z is the one I would start with because it's incredible. But to really know the history, watch Dragon Ball. It's amazing. And this new Dragon Ball Super that's out, I haven't seen it, but all I'm hearing is good things. So you cannot tell me, right, that this is a terrible idea for a movie. It would have been great if they had have taken, some liberties. Now, the thing is, they begin with this whitewashing process when they turn an anime series into a Hollywood big budget film. And to be honest with you, I don't really have a problem with that if it's done right. That's the key, right? If you do it right, then I can get past it. I mean, a lot of people they have problems with this whitewashing story, this changing things, and I'm not fussy about it if you can do it right. If the actors can really pull off the character, then that's perfect. If you get a great movie, and fine, it's been whitewashed, whatever, but if you get a great movie out of it, then I'm not gonna really fuss. I'm not gonna be like, well, he was meant to be Asian, but he's white now. That sucks. No, if I get a good movie, if I'm sitting down and I'm taking out of that experience something that's amazing, then perfect, right? But then what they do is they basically blaspheme and change the entire story to fit what? To fit who was this movie even intended for? I mean, if they were trying to cash in on the fans of the series, then sticking to the actual story would have been like a far better idea. I don't get it. If they were trying to appeal to people who basically never saw anything, then sticking to the story of the beginning of the Dragon Ball series would have worked fine. We would have learned who the characters were. We would have seen some new people. We would have understood what the Dragon Balls were and what they could do. But instead, they decided that they were going to overhaul this whole crazy thing. I mean, look, you could have taken characters from the beginning of the Dragon Ball series, put someone like Oolong, for instance, and if you don't know who Oolong is, I'm going to show you a picture of him right now. That's Oolong. Now, instead of making him look like that in a live-action movie, to be a bit more realistic, they could have had some, like, disgusting fat guy that could have been there, right? And they could have had him have the ability to transform into these macho, masculine people or whatever. It would have been funny, it would have worked great, it would have fit with the theme of basically the Dragon Ball series. It would have been great. It would have been fine. I would have accepted this, right? Instead, what they do is they overhaul and they destroy any resemblance to this TV series, aside from, obviously, the names, right? And the Dragon Balls actually existing, which I'm surprised they even decided to put that in there, but don't worry about that, right? Instead, they fail to do anything that actually makes fans of this series, who I'm pretty sure that this was made for, they do anything that doesn't make them come back and watch it again and again and again. And then, when it inevitably failed, because we all knew it was going to, what do we hear time and time again? In fact, what do we hear whenever this happens with any product that these guys make, that they try and turn from an anime into a live-action film? And then they rush it, and they just completely change it, and they do everything that ruins this, right? What do we hear from Hollywood? Um, Things like this, they just don't translate well to the big screen. Which, it's true. They don't translate well. If you mistranslate the entire story, then of course it's not going to translate very well to the big screen at all. Which is funny, right? Because you look at things like that Dragon Ball Super movie that just came out, that didn't have the same misgivings, right? In fact, any animated Dragon Ball movie that has been in the cinemas, it tends to do pretty damn well on the big screen. So when you say that a movie like this doesn't translate well on the big screen, the question really becomes, does a movie like this not translate well when turned into a live-action film? Or does it just just not translate well when the people at the top don't fully understand how to translate it? Is that the problem? And I mean, I'm not trying to give Hollywood some hate here, and the big wigs at the top. Fine, I get it. You might not understand how this works or what the thing is or why it's charming. But perhaps when something messes up and doesn't go the way that you want it to, instead of blaming the property itself and saying, well, Dragon Ball just doesn't really translate well to the big screen for live action, how about you take some responsibility and say, look, we didn't understand how to really make this movie into a proper film that would be live action and incredible. We took some liberties we thought were going to be great, but the movie inevitably failed, and that's our fault. Understand that the movie failed because of you, because you were trying to change it and make it something that it wasn't. It wasn't the movie's fault, right? It wasn't the series that had been established before. It's not that fault, right? It's the fault of you guys, and we see this time and time again. Now, Torishima goes on to say, by the way, that if Hollywood was making the movie now, that he would almost certainly invest to ensure that the movie was made with a little bit more care and attention to detail. Now, obviously, I'm paraphrasing what he said exactly. If you want to read that, then I will post a link in the description below so you can actually read the article that I got this from. But to be honest with you, I guess it's a little too late now. I don't think that they're going to be making another Dragon Ball movie for quite a while, which, to be honest, it kind of sucks. A live-action film for this series could be incredible. And by the way, I'm not saying that if Akira Toriyama had the reins, that the film wouldn't still have been average at best, right? Because that's quite possible. It's possible that if Toriyama took the reins for the film, that it would not have been amazing. Maybe it would have been average, right? But to be honest with you, I would take average over the turd that we got any day of the week. But that's just me. I mean, I prefer my movies to be a little bit better, and we got a turd. Now, let me know what you think. So comment down below if you think, hey Elroy, like I think that if Akira Toriyama took over, it still would have sucked. Like you just can't do live action Dragon Ball movies, man. Or if you think, man, if they had a chance to say no to a lot of this crap, then the movie probably would have been better. We might have at least gotten a trilogy out of this. Who knows? But let me know what you think down below. Now, this is the part where I ask you to subscribe to my Modest channel, and if you enjoy hearing my voice, I ask you to click that notification bell, because for some reason, you might want to be notified when I put a video out. Now, if you like this kind of video and want me to talk about more anime related things or more cartoon related things, click that like button, and then that'll let me know that I should do some more stuff like this. But anyways, guys, that is me. My name is Elroy. This is my world. Thank you for joining me and for sticking around. And like I said, comment below and let me know what you guys think. And I hope you have a great, well, the rest of your day is amazing. And I will see you, and I know I will, in the next one. Bye.